All right, what's going on YouTube? I had somebody reach out to me and they wanted me to build them a 2-string cigar box guitar. So I sent them some photos of some boxes that I had and they picked this one. I've already cut the slot for the neck. I've already braced up the inside. And I've got the neck ready for its final shaping. Just been sitting overnight, letting the fretboard glue up. So one of the things you're gonna need if you're gonna build cigar box guitars is a lot of clamps. I always seem to run out. I've showed this before. I usually put this level on here. I use it as a straight edge just to get good, even clamping pressure across the fretboard. So there it is. The fretboard I left it long. So now I'll put it in the box and I'll figure out where I want to cut it, how many frets. I've already determined probably around 21. So probably cut it to 22nd fret. I don't know yet, but that's more than likely the scenario. I figured while I was at it, I had these two boxes, a black one and a blue one, and they got this cool little. They're not holes, but they don't go all the way through. So I figured more than likely, I'm thinking about cutting into those and making those sound holes for the bottoms. So I've already same thing. I've cut the slot for the neck. And I've braced the inside. Now the difference, these will both be 3 strings, by the way. The difference on these, there you go. Different stage of the neck process, putting the extra pieces on the headstock. Now I'll trim that down and then I'll glue up the fretboard. But the difference in these is because the inside of that box is thin, I had to take off material from the bottom and the top. So just a little different, but still plenty of strength inside the box, you know, to support this neck. So that's what both of these are going to look like. So in the beginning stages here of these builds, I've kind of I've already set these up and laid out the material, the pickups and things that I want to use. So these black and blue boxes will be, even though these boxes are the same, they will have a very different configuration. So I'll show you some of that as we go along, and we'll talk some more about this 2-string cigar box guitar. All right, I got the neck shaped out now and sanded. And so after I do that, I put the fret dot markers on the top. Go ahead and put my logo on the back as well. And I cut it off. Remember, it was long a little bit earlier. I cut it at the 24th fret. So it'll have 23 actual frets, but right here where it's cut off, that's where the 24th fret. Now this is gonna go over the box. So, you know, typically when they're this far into the box, because of the heel, you can maybe fret the top string, but you know, getting the rest of them. But coming over here with a slide, you could definitely do that, so you'll know exactly where the 24th fret is. You'll also notice that I started laying this, tape this up, I laid out where the pickup was going to go. That's how I determined how many frets I could get, and I just figured that, okay, right there I can cut it at the 24th fret and it'll be perfect for this pickup. It'll still leave the logo here. Now this is a hardtail bridge, so I need to get the frets on here so that I can take an exact measurement and get this hardtail bridge laid in here where it needs to be. And these are since this is going to be a 2-string, I've got these individual hardtail bridge pieces, right? So I'll put these together. And the thing about these hardtail bridges is there's adjustments, you know, front and back for getting the intonation, but there's not a lot of adjustment, right? So you gotta be fairly accurate with your measurements. So I'll put these, I'll adjust these to the middle, and then I will take my measurement and get it in the location where it needs to be, and then I'll have a little bit of forward and back adjustment. So that's the one thing about the 2-string guitar. The other thing about the 2-string guitar, I'm just gonna pull this one down. It's, you know, so when you look at the strings on here, you know, you got an 1.5-inch wide fretboard. It's a matter of where am I gonna put these 2 strings, right? I've seen them where they're the top and the bottom string. I've seen it where you keep the same spacing and move it to the middle. So kind of looking at that, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep the same spacing. So if you can imagine just taking these 2 strings, deleting that one, and just moving everything to the exact middle of the fretboard. So they'll have the same string spacing, but they'll obviously be in a different location from the 3-string. So that's what I'm thinking about. I'm getting ready to fret this thing up, and then it'll be game on. Then I'll start, once I get that measurement for the bridge, I'm gonna start cutting into that box, slicing her up. So here we go. All right, on just about all of my builds, I use a 0 fret, what people call a 0 fret. It's just a big fret. So this is the Super Jumbo. See, I'm starting to run out. I got to order some more. Super Jumbo fret. And then for the rest of the frets, I use these medium. So that's what I use for the frets. And I always kind of cut this little angle here. I don't even know if I can get this to focus. And I keep that angle on the, or I make sure that angle is on the business end. And what I mean by that is this end where your hand's gonna be, so that there's no little piece sticking out from underneath that fret that could catch you. So you'll see me always lining it up on this side and then cutting it off on this side. Frets on here, but this is where I spend most of my time on these necks. You know, shaping them out takes a little while, but the really important part is these frets. So you need to make sure they're level and they're flat. So it's a good idea to have one of these. I guess it's called a fret rocker. That's what I call it. I think that's what it's called. Fret rocker. It reduces in size, you know, for the distance between. Basically, it lays across 3 frets, and you can find a high fret. This is a beveled file, so I can get the profile along the sides. Also have, I'd made one of these, but then I went and bit the bullet and ordered one. This is a piece of aluminum block, and it's got different types of sandpaper on each side to help level the frets. And then, you know, just a regular fret file to get these frets worked in. So they're obviously, they need to be filed off on the sides first. Then I'll go start checking them. Then I'll set the bevel on the sides, both sides. And then once I get through that, I'll go back through and double check them for level. I can look down it and see, you know, after you've done a few of these, I can look down it and see that I don't have any high frets. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna put this thing on it. So I'll do that. And then if need be, what I'll do is I take this thick black Sharpie and I'll make a mark on every fret. Just run this up it and make sure, you know, it takes the Sharpie off of all the frets. That's another way, you know, so if you have a low one or a high one, you'll see that obviously. So just a few of the things that you got to have in your arsenal when you're doing these, because this is this is the business end right here. This is money. If these ain't right, it's not gonna play right. With this, I'm just going through and just taking the little spikes off the edge. You can hear it go from metal to wood, hear it and feel it. So that's all I'm doing. Just going through there. You can feel now it's a couple little spots. All right, now it's a matter of, I guess, deburring, getting all the rough ends off of this and just cleaning this up, getting the frets cleaned up. And this neck, it'll be ready for oil. Just finished up the wire and I'm waiting on this last little piece of glue to dry. So I figured I'd give you a look at the inside of this box. I have this area kind of sticks up a little bit. These two stick up a little bit. That's just to allow the single coil here to go up and down, gives it room. I do have a tone capacitor on there. These two leads here will go to the input jack. I just do it this way, it's a little easier to have the thing wide open. You can see everything's grounded, and what I'm waiting on to dry is this little piece of glue right here, which is just to hold down the ground wire so it stays in place. I've cut a little channel on the neck right here, and so it's just to keep, so that's where the ground wire will come up. So I just want to make sure that it's in the right spot. So I've already tested everything. It tested pretty good, and I'll test it again when I solder these two leads together. Maybe just for a little clarity, I got it closed up now. You can see here the two wires sticking out the back. Here's the input jack. I use a little jack plate. So I just need to solder this up. You'll still be able to open, you can see the slack here, and this is going to get shoved in. So you'll still be able to open the box, you know, like on this angle if you need to get in there. But for initial wiring, I like to do it this way. right, so she checked good. So now it's time to button it up. All right, there it is. That's the, this is the 2-string guitar, the brick. Several things about this. So, number one is underneath the bridge here. And I do this on a lot of these guitars. There's a little bit of a back angle, just ever so slightly. So this is raised up, and you don't want to jack these little set screws up here too high, because then it looks all wonky. So I put a spacer in there. I was racking my brain trying to figure out what to put underneath that would match the box and look good. I was talking to my brother, telling him about it, and he's like, man, it's a brick, so build some bricks. So that's what that's supposed to look like. Hopefully you can see it. The other thing is, this is not necessary, but I always put a nail back here. I did it one day because I didn't like the way these little I don't know what these pieces are called back here, but anyway, they're all twisted and out of alignment, and I just like them lined up. So I put a nail back here. Plus I think it's kind of like throwback to the old school guitar building. So there's that. I was gonna just use the latch to hold the lid down. When I put it together, this piece was just loose, so I put a screw back here to hold it. And you saw on the inside there's braces in all 4 corners, but it needed to be screwed down there. So it's got a single coil, it's got a volume, it's got a tone knob, there's the jack, strap button, single coil. It's got the dot markers on the top, it's got them on the front. These are gold locking tuners, really nice gold locking tuners, I might add. This thing came out awesome. This is number 84. And it's also the last guitar for this year. So kind of funny. I built the one previous to this was my first 4-string. First 4-string resonator, and now this is the first 2-string guitar. I still have these other 2. I kind of started them at the same time, but I've focused my attention on this one, so these will be the first. I don't even have the fretboards glued up, so these will be the first builds of the new year. So Jeff reached out to me on my Gmail and asked me if I would build him a 2-string guitar. I said, oh yeah, absolutely. So I started doing some research on these things as I was getting ready to build it. And I guess they call these things Chuggers. So pretty cool. But and then people would ask me, well, you know, and I tell them, what are you working on? Working on a 2-string guitar. Well, why would you build a 2-string guitar? Why not? They're fun. So this one is tuned G, D. And the string is, this bottom string here is a 042. And the top string is a 030. Alright, so let me set this amp up here where you can hear it. Pointed at the camera, I should say. Yep. Turn it on. Get all the stuff that's out underneath it here. Get it right. There we go. Turn it on, and we'll plug it in. All right, so there you go. That's the brick. Like I said, I got a couple more boxes that I'm working on. They'll be coming out right after the first of the year. I need to get busy on those things. I still got to cut down the headstock and glue the fretboards on and start shaping them out. And the boxes are the same. They're just one's blue and one's black, but they're the same manufacturer. So but they're gonna be completely different. So there you go, finishing out the year with a 2-string Chugger. Jeff, I hope you enjoy this thing as much as I enjoy building it. It's really fun to play too. It's pretty awesome. So everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you had a great holiday and a happy new year. I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.